Hi, I'm not James West, but this is Midas
I'm not
Letter.
James West.
That's right. This is Midas Letter RAW. I'm Fraser, the producer, here with Ed, obviously.
Ed the head. Ed the head's here.
That's right. And we, in honor, James, if you were watching yesterday, is landing in Jamaica right now.
Jamaica man. James is, private jet, looking at a marijuana deal.
Yeah, and in honor of James not being here today, we've got a picture of him eating into a
Pineapple.
pineapple.
Whatever that is.
Yes. So today we have two IPOs.
Yeah.
Rivers, Canopy Rivers, and
Northern Bud.
Northern Bud.
NBUD.
Yeah.
And I must say that yesterday was a seminal. We saw some amazing action, and I don't know about you, Fraser, but I kind of feel like some of the wind has been taken out, or the air has been taken out of the tires. Don't you feel like it's not just quite the same, not as much action? And I think we're going to look back at this day, and we're going to say something changed yesterday, only because of the action. Like it went from 150 to 300. Been back to 160, and that move from 300 to 160, I'm pretty sure took place in about half an hour.
Yeah.
So there was massive selling, and today there's action, but it's not quite the same, not quite the nuttiness.
My take from and I don't have Tilray, and I don't think many of us do.
No, but how do you feel about it?
Well, watching it yesterday was sort of like, I almost have a small sense of what it might have felt like to live in the Depression, or like right when a major crash happened.
Right.
Because you're watching it skyrocket so fast, you see the algorithms going, brrr, and then you're thinking like, this can't be good. It can't end well. You know what I mean? Like, how does? And then you try to justify the valuation. You can't. It's just like.
Well, you saw the thing I sent you about Alcoa.
Yeah.
Alcoa, which is a monster company. As it generates in a few hours the revenues of Tilray in a quarter.
In 6 hours to a quarter. Yeah. So if we have time at some point, we'll do the math. Like maybe an hour. What an hour would equal if that's like.
So and again, I know even though I'm not I haven't been schooled as a technical guy. I've been watching charts for 35 years. And I got to tell you, that chart we saw on Tilray yesterday, I think it's going to hold up as being a sort of a seminal pivot point.
Yeah, okay. Well, do you want to
let's take a look. Let's take a look. Let's just maybe put up a 3-month chart.
3 month, okay.
And then I'll just quickly maybe...
Okay.
Here we go. Yeah. So look at this. I mean, we came out at $17. We went around here, nothing. Then we broke this little high here, and this thing started to launch. And if you look, and this is typical of a bubble or an exponential move, where the move gets faster and faster, volumes get larger and larger. Okay, and then look at this. This is a 1 day. Which is basically the whole move. That this is double.
Yeah, let's just.
Okay, so look at. But anyway, long story short, look at that. Look at that. That's $150 swing, and you got a big wick. You got a big.
On both ends, right?
Well, it doesn't. This is the tail. Yeah. This is the wick, and it's red. So it opened here, closed here, and you had this huge range, and then sure enough, next day. Another big range day, again though, lower here than it opened. It opened up here, not bad, but again, a big wick, big tail. So I think we got to just keep this in mind and temper our enthusiasm a bit. Not to suggest that anything is, but maybe it's going to take some of the steam out of here. And so, yeah, we'll leave it at that.
Well, and this is the other thing is, if you look at this range is as valuable as the price of the stock. Total.
Exactly.
It just doubled look at this
in a
matter of minutes.
Look at this. and then this is only 1 day action, or it's
Yeah.
well 2 days, say, but here we got to 240 something.
Yeah.
And now if this thing starts to, it may take a week, but I'm going to say, a lot of the wind has been taken out of the sails here.
Well, yeah, and when it was climbing up like that, there was the circuit breaker halt or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Everybody else was affected. So you had Canopy, Afria, and all the stocks take a bit of a dive.
Yeah, well, I saw Chronos yesterday at 19 and change, and it went from the 19, it backed off to 17 and a half or something like that. Then it shot up to 19 again, and next time I looked, it was $16.
Yeah.
And today I know it's up $1, but this doesn't seem to have the urgency. There isn't like everybody's a little tired today. Everybody, has been sort of,
Yeah.
like not energized, but the opposite, energized, enervated,
Well, so Ben, our senior writer, wrote an article on
Right.
Rivers IPO happening at sort of an ideal time, but then right after he wrote that, the whole Tilray thing happened, which just threw everything.
Rivers first day today.
Today, and
Let's put up Rivers. Let's see what the range is here, and let's see what it's done because we're only going to get a 1 day chart, so we can't,
Yeah, so we'll get that going. So, I guess we're going to look at this in the context of
Okay.
how should we say this?
So we opened up here. Like what is this? So if you bought the last private placement, it was done at what, 350?
350.
So today it opened around $10.
10, just over 10.
So
10 and
it's over 10. Immediately sold off, rallied a bit, then sideways.
Yeah.
Okay. And now it looks like as we go into the end of the day, we're just below 9 now, aren't we?
9.
I think this is 9, so that looks like a little bit under 9. I don't know what the time frame is.
Yeah, we should get Rivers up on the ticker down here too. But for me, I was I don't know when the first,
890 right now. 890 is the last trade.
So when I first got up in the morning, I was excited about this IPO because it's Bruce Linton, it's Canopy, it's a big deal. Everybody's been talking about it. When I woke up, the bid and the ask was at $55, and then $35, and then as it got closer to open, it kind of settled at 10.
Sure.
And I was sort of disappointed because I wanted to jump in. I was hoping, at around 5 or just under 5 or something. And
Right.
But it was so high that I felt like I can't. How am I going to make money at 10?
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay.
So, but very interesting to see what'll happen.
Yeah.
Moving forward with these
Maybe
guys.
we should just look at some of the bigger ones in Canada now. Like we can talk about.
Well, let's look at Bud first because they had their
first day too. Bud. Let's see what they did today.
Bud on CNX, is that it? Is this right?
Yeah. Okay, so that looks like a bigger range. Now, what is that? That's a 1 day, which is all we have.
Yep.
Okay, so sure enough, right away, this is the hot, just like we saw with Rivers, near the highs, right off the hop. So we had to rush in, but really then right, look at this.
Yeah.
Down to 55 cents, back up here, and then sort of the same sideways action. And here we are now, around 50 cents. I think this came out at a quarter. I think if you bought the private placement, it was a quarter.
Yeah.
So there's good action here.
Yeah.
But this is a much smaller funding than the Rivers.
Yeah, but but if you wanted to invest in this, maybe this is like, just wait and see a little bit.
Yeah, right? but they only raised $1 million. If they only raised $1 million or something like that, how long is that $1 billion going to last them? I'm not looking for an answer. I'm just saying.
Well, it depends. Yeah, it depends.
Because the enemy of companies without revenues and cash flow, the enemy of those companies is dilution.
Yeah.
The more paper you issue, the stickier it gets. Now we did a great interview today. I don't know what time we want to segue into that.
Let's look at. I just wanted to compare these two to AUSA.
Let's look
What's
at
that. What is that exchange?
AUSA, I believe, is on the. Geez, you know what? I'm going to say the CNX.
Okay, we'll take it. We'll try that. Yeah.
There you go.
So this is a 1 day.
No, let's put up a 5 day.
5 day.
That'll give us yeah. Okay, so look at this. Look at this move. Opened at 10, shot up to 16, collapsed, and then got down to like last night. We had a double little bottom here.
Yeah.
Immediately shot back up to 5 and change, and this may be getting ready for a move up. Hard to say, but around 350. But again, a lot of the oomp's gone. It's like.
Well, look at I mean the volume.
Oh, we saw big volume this morning.
Yeah.
Here.
See, to me, and I'm not like I play around in the stocks, but I mean IPOs to me just seem super risky. Super risky.
And if you were fortunate enough to buy this, you could have bought this at 20 cents.
If you're in the private placement rounds.
Yeah, and what would you do? Need to know somebody to get? How does that work?
Well, you tell me.
Did anybody call you?
Nobody called me.
Did they lose my number?
I don't know. But I'm saying if you're just on a regular retail investor, the prospect of investing in a company on their first day of going public, it's I don't know. I'd rather stand on the sideline. Like here in the day 2, you could have made some money.
Well, you know what? I monkeyed around with this, and I didn't answer the question. What was the last round? I just looked at the fact that it went to 10 to 16 down to 3. I thought probably got a trade in it. Well, there was a trade in it. But I didn't. I was nervous because I thought, jeepers creepers! I bought this thing at $4 yesterday, average, and basically sold it at 4 today. Because it closed at 3, I was out $1 a share, and if you got 5,000 shares, that's $5,000. $5,000 is $5,000. Da 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 da. But anyway, and here it is holding around 350. Looks like it's trying to hold here, but if look at Weed MD going across here, we're going to see Keith Merker tomorrow. At some point, and
he's a great speaker, right? He's one of the best.
Keith and I go back. We've had a couple of fun nights, and he lives in London, Ontario. He doesn't live very far from where I have a home, but interesting. So these are the 3 deals that just came public, and just interestingly, they came right around the time that Tilray maybe has shit the bed. I don't want to, again, we're not trying to knock anything here.
Well,
but let's take a look at, what got halted yesterday was Huge, HUGE.
That's right.
And Huge, I believe.
Do you want to look at their stuff?
Yeah, let's look at Huge, HUGE on the CNX.
Huge, CNX.
Okay, let's put up a, let's try
this is only a 5 day right
let's
there.
put up 1 month. Get the full, okay, so here we go. And this is 1,300,000 shares outstanding, and
$1 billion.
Yeah, with a B, a B. And look at this big move. I mean, this is holy smokes. But then we get the big red candle. Then we get a little bit of a little bit go to sleep, and yet back to life again. So
you like the candle with the big wick at the bottom, right?
Well,
like generally.
What I like it if it's at the bottom, but this is at the top.
Right.
Now that's not a bad candle, but what I don't like here is that it's outside the Bollinger Band to the upside. Yeah. I like going in when it's really looking like shit.
Yeah.
And it's the Bollinger Band. It's on the underneath here.
Yeah.
But look, we've gone up here. We had a big day, and here we are around 88 cents, 87 cents. This is $1 billion market cap here. There's lots of news. I mean,
It's crazy.
But there's a few things that have done nothing, like that have.
Well, let's look at the indexes.
Yeah,
shall
this
we?
is the big. This is the big index, right?
Yeah. So let me see. I'm going to do a James West impersonation here.
Okay. So let's. Okay,
So the percent gainers?
Yeah, let's look at the percentage change. Aurora Cannabis up 8%.
Yeah.
Kronos up 7. Okay, so there they are listed.
Most of these are solid.
They're up a little bit, but nothing. Not like some of the big gains we've seen. Again, I got to tell you, I think this Tilray thing's knocked, taking the wind out of the sails a bit. It's sort of like, ugh,
yeah.
I'm tired. We need a little rest. But they're up nicely. There's no question. But they're certainly not in the new high territory, are they? Like they've gained back some of their losses from yesterday, but they were all losers yesterday.
Yeah, but you wouldn't want to see them run like. Unless you own it and you're going to sell it in the same day, you wouldn't want to see the violent moves like Tilray. Unless you are taking profit that day, right?
Boy, I'll tell you, that move in Tilray from 150 to 300 back to 160.
Have you seen anything?
Well, you know what? I was around in the .com day, and I saw stuff back then. I remember a company called Rambus. It was trading at around $30, and it doubled just before the earnings came out to about $60.
Right.
And then the earnings came out, and it went to 130. And then that was the peak, and I was shorting it at 65. It cost me a lot of grief. This is about 2000 and year 2000, June of 2000.
The year 2000.
So that was like
Y2K. That's when everyone thought all their computers were going to explode.
No more electricity.
My father-in-law, I remember he bought cans of soup and had this room dedicated in the house that he just filled with non-perishables because he thought that the lights were going to go out and it would be the end of the world.
I'll take it one step further, and I'll give you another good example. My sister, she said, none of the garage doors are going to open. Nothing can work. I said, well, just unplug it and do it by mail. Like, duh.
It ended up being like there wasn't even a glitch.
Not one.
No.
Nothing.
Yeah.
It was just such bullshit.
Yeah.
And the whole thing. Northern Telecom went to $120 a share. Northern Telecom was worth a third, about 32% of the entire Toronto Stock Exchange. One company, a third of the whole thing, and you know what? They never made a penny. They never made one sou. That's S-O-U-S, by the way, if you don't know French. Anyway.
that means underneath, though.
Yeah.
So let's. What else is interesting here before we get to our buddies at Aleafia?
Let's take a look at. We haven't talked about some of these mining things, and
that's right.
Let's talk about Golden Ridge, because I see Golden Ridge got down to about 22, and I think it hit 27 today at one point. Not a huge move, but let's take a look at GLDN.
GLDN on the
venture. I don't know what
CA.
There you go.
CA, and this is a month, so.
Okay, so you know what? And they came out with pretty good news, and the stock got to 50-some cents back there.
Yeah.
And and then the news came out, and I know that there's so much news to come. And look at this day here. This was the day they came out with their second hole, which was better than the first hole. Stock still came off, but maybe here we're starting to see a couple green candles, looking a little better. Got to 26, 27 today.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure they feel they've got some really good holes coming on that drilling program in the Golden Triangle.
This is just 5 days I'm looking at now.
Yeah. So here we are. So that's turned around a bit.
Yeah.
But it looked pretty ugly here.
Yeah.
This thing hit the 54, 55 cents back in here, and look at
21.
And now back to nickel on 21's almost 20%, right?
Yeah.
So look, we'll see.
Part of me thinks,
Aben going by here at 30 as another one.
Do you think the cannabis mania takes away thunder from the mining sector.
You know what? You know what? You can talk to your blue in the face about some of these other things.
Yeah.
But people love action. People love instant gratification. You know, they want to get in and they want to play.
They want action.
You know, we're in a world now where everything is like, you know, like what do they talk about? Just-in-time inventories. Everything is just, it's got to be right now.
Like
you know
Tilray, you make $150 gain in one day.
You know what? You could have bought it in the morning, 1,000 shares
Retired
for
at night.
150 grand, and then sold it and doubled your money. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
But it's not that simple.
No.
It's not that simple.
And,
Never is.
and the mining stuff takes time to move
You know,
from one.
the capital required to build a mine, and one of the problems, and you talk to some of the guys that are knowledgeable, how long does it take to build a mine? How much does it cost, and how long does it take? And you know, copper is an essential commodity for the electrification of the world.
Mm-hmm.
You can't move energy around without copper, and yet there's no new copper coming on.
Like Steve Dunn says, where's it going to come
I know,
from?
exactly. And Steve's a good friend, and I love
but he's
him
right.
dearly.
He's right.
You know, and I got a big position with Steve in that northeastern California play. You just got to sit back and wait it out.
Because it seems
But nobody wants to wait.
nobody wants to wait.
You know, so people say, well, who's selling it? Well, you know who's selling it? The guys that want to play.
Yeah, they're seeing Tilray and they're going, I want some of that action.
People want action. You know, they're addicted to the action as much as they are to winning. You know.
Everybody wants some action. I wonder if James is getting any action right now.
He's probably
James, are you getting any action?
James, wherever you are, I hope you're tugging on the pipe somewhere.
He said he was going to Skype in unless some some stuff
unless
started happening.
Maybe he was sleeping off the ride.
That's right.
Maybe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
Look at. So we've talked about Golden Ridge. Now, what about? Hey, let's talk about NU.
Oh, that's my. Yeah. So I've been.
Listen. I had those guys come in here and talk to James way back when.
Yeah.
And you know what? Put up a.
Well, just 1 second, because I've had this stock for a long time, and I've just been letting it sit there because for months and months and months and months, I have an average of 10 cents.
Now, is that NU?
Yeah. So, but if you look at
I thought it got to 30 cents, though.
A long time ago. So
this is
I'll
5
show that.
days.
Yeah,
This is
show
5
that in a minute. But
Okay.
I had like an alert set off or something, just because all of a sudden now there's volume. So I'm starting to.
So you're saying here a few days ago we shot up to 14 or so.
50. I think it touched 15.
And then back down to 11.
Yeah.
And then we've done it again.
Yeah. But look at the volume. There's more volume in the past few days than there has been in an entire month put together.
Right.
So if I go 6 months or a year, let's just do a year. So yeah, they at one point they were rocking.
Definitely, we got some nice volume here.
Yeah.
Nice volume here. Like it's pretty quiet in here as it came down. We had some lot of action back in when was this? This is the beginning of the year, right? 2018.
Yeah.
January.
Yeah.
And
so
I think they were tied into
Lexaria. They have their new energy pills.
Right.
They are. We had an interview with Glenn, the CEO, quite a while ago.
I spent he brought some pills in, and I had some of those pills, and I got to tell you,
they're a good kick in the balls, eh? Kick in the pants. Kick in the plums.
Soft.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. I like it when these lines start to roll up.
Yeah.
And I like to see this volume, and because we were so low here, maybe this is one that the viewers may want to watch.
Well, and now that hockey, so do you watch hockey from time to time?
Certainly not in summer.
You know who Nick Kyprios is?
Yeah,
right?
Nick's a big proponent of your product.
I saw it on Hockey Night in Canada.
Didn't he
last year.
keeps it on?
Yeah. So now that the new
let's hope that there's not something else in there.
Well, soon there will be, because they have CBD and THC that they're starting to sell in something like 400 dispensaries. So.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, just to keep an eye on that.
No,
they're not
listen,
a client.
listen.
James doesn't own any. I'm like, I don't have large positions.
Yeah.
I just play around.
You know who's a big shareholder of this is Alpha North, I think, is a big institution. Steve Palmer.
Okay.
Steve, I've chatted with Steve. You know, he's been patient, but look, here you go. Maybe, the screen's gone.
Well, I think that is probably a cue to
Okay.
You
Hey.
talked to the new CEO.
The new CEO, Geoff Benic.
Benic
Of
Aleafia.
Aleafia, and I guess James talked to Julian
Fantino, the former
police chief of London and Toronto.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was good. I mean, Geoff strikes me as a guy you wouldn't want to play hockey against.
That's right.
He's a big boy, and they're sitting on cash. They got 22 clinics, 50,000 patients. Did he say 50,000?
50,000. Yeah.
Jeepers creepers! I hope I didn't get that wrong.
Shall we watch it?
Let's watch it. Let's watch it right now. Hello, everyone. Today we have Geoff Benic, Aleafia Health, and Geoff and I are going to talk about what's transpired with this company since. By the way, James West interviewed Julian a few months ago, so maybe give us an idea of what's gone on. And I understand you've been there about 3 months.
Yeah, so I took the reins of the company as CEO July 3rd.
July 3rd. What was the stock then?
Stock was somewhere around 60 cents.
And what is it today?
I think we're getting close to $2 today, right? We hit a high of $2.18.
You're taking all the credit?
You know what? Team effort, right?
Team effort.
I'm a hockey player, so everything's a team effort. Right?
No I in team, right?
No I in team.
Good for you. Good for you, Geoff. So tell me about what's your background?
So my background's I've been a serial entrepreneur and started off as a hockey player at a playing junior hockey.
Yep.
Memorial Cup.
Sure. Really?
Drafted by the Blackhawks.
Yeah, you look pretty solid.
Yeah. Not as solid as I used to be, but still a team player, right?
Right.
After that, started business in logistics.
Sure.
I've been a serial entrepreneur in logistics. Was involved in a company very early called Grocery Gateway.
Right.
Still around today. A couple software companies, but primarily all logistics and primarily.
So you've been with this company 3 months.
Yep.
And what distinguishes Aleafia? I see health in the name, so obviously you're looking at it from the medical side mainly. Is that?
Yeah, I think it's one of our key differentiators is that we have 22 medical cannabis clinics coast to coast.
22,
and we have 50,000 patients, 50,000 loyal patients.
Really?
Yes.
And over what? And how long did it take you to put that together?
So the Aleafia is a combination of a roll-up that we did in buying a company called Campbell Clinics, and since then still operating them as Campbell Clinics, but it was through an acquisition.
Cannabis?
Yes, Campbell Clinics.
So I think I know. No, I know a little bit about Cannabis. I think. Now, was there a fellow? Was Wade Daw involved in Cannabis?
Yeah, that sounds familiar. I wasn't in on that.
Right.
At the time,
I think
Wade
that
Daw
makes
was.
sense. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
So you said 22, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. And are you continuing to add clinics, or are you?
Yeah. So we're continuing looking at strategic opportunities to add. We really like this space. We understand how to manage clinics. We manage them very, very well. We know how to give patients great care, and we also know how to train doctors on how to prescribe cannabis.
Sure. So tell me, when the last financing you did, what price was that done at?
So that was done at $1.25.
And when was that done?
That was done back in May of 2018.
Okay. And how much money did you raise back then? Do you remember?
That was $28 million when it was all said and done.
And how much money are you sitting with right now in the Treasury?
So right now in the Treasury, we still have north of $20 million. That includes the acquisition of our facility in Grimsby that's fully paid. We have no debt and still have about $20 million of cash on the balance sheet.
Right. And what's is your year end a calendar year end?
Yeah, our year end's a calendar year end. And
so are these clinics generating you some good cash flow?
Yeah, so if you look at our financials, that we're generating cash, we're making money, and
yeah, good.
We're going to continue doing it.
That's so important because if you can differentiate yourself by generating cash and making money, you're doing something a lot of the competition isn't doing right now.
Yeah, and I think our story keeps getting better. as you know, we are fully integrated
Right.
vertically, and we're going to start growing.
So how you are going to grow?
Yep, yep.
And where are you? Have you picked out some places for that?
So we have 2 facilities right now that are fully funded. We have one in Niagara, which is our new one.
Right.
It's 160,000 square feet.
Right.
It's a modern facility, Dutch hybrid, with a conveyor table system, and it's going to be state of the art. We're well on into the retrofit of it right now.
Sure.
And it's going to come online in November. That's going to produce about 38,000 kilograms of top quality medicine for our patients.
Right, right.
The other one we have is in Scugog, Port Perry. It's 7,000 square feet.
Okay.
Small, but fully functional.
Yeah.
Cultivating, and we just received our sales license, and we just completed our second harvest, and the results on our second harvest are off the charts.
It sounds like you got your balance sheet in pretty good order, right? So you don't have no debt. You got lots of cash.
Yep.
And you're generating cash.
Yes.
Yeah, that's refreshing.
And we got 18 million warrant call coming in now. It's been triggered. We're starting to get a lot of our.
And what price are those warrants at?
At $1.75.
And I may have asked you this, but how many shares in the company?
135 million fully diluted. So we've got a nice capital structure.
Yeah. And tell me, how much does management? Do you have an idea of how many shares is represented in terms of management ownership?
So management ownership is in for about 17 to 18% of
Wow.
that. So
Wow.
we're vested, we're committed, and our upside will be really based on the success of this business. So we're totally committed.
Right. And now, does your board have? I think I recall when Cannabo was public, I'm pretty sure there was quite a few medical people on the board. Yep. Is that still the case?
Yeah, we still have Dr. Mike Verboa. He's our medical director.
Right.
He's pound for pound probably one of the best cannabis doctors in Canada. He's always in some kind of speaking engagements or some think tank.
Yeah.
He's truly is a leading physician in the space.
Yeah, and now I'm even though I'm not new to marijuana personally.
Yep.
I'm learning that there's quite a big difference between THC and CBD, and one's more of the sort of the buzz thing, and one's more of the benefits to the body.
Yep.
And so, do you guys in your business, are you one way or the other, or is it?
So we're doing both.
You're doing both.
A lot of our patients have chronic pain.
Yeah.
So it requires certain THC levels, right? That typically you would not find over the counter through the upcoming recreational market.
Yeah.
And then CBD is obviously we treat a lot of our sleep issues as well as some pain and some anxiety and some eating disorders with CBD.
Okay.
And THC as well.
Good.
We've got a great horticulturist. I just got to tell you, that's one of our key assets.
Yeah.
Is a gentleman by the name of Lucas Escott, one of the founders of Metrum, got sold to Canopy.
Right.
He's built 7 facilities, so this guy is world-class grower. He's top-notch, he can grow.
That's great. Jeff, we're going to leave it there.
Yeah.
And really want you to come back here probably in a month or 2 or 3 and tell us where you're going and give us an update.
Yeah, super excited. We got a lot of great news coming out. You're probably going to want me back on the show.
I absolutely.
Great.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you, Ed.
Well, guess who's back?
Guess who's back?
Fraser. Did Fraser leave the building? I don't think so.
No, but because I don't really do this that often, we should say hello to some of our peeps on YouTube.
Yeah. Feel free. I've never said hello to anybody.
Yeah. So from what I understand, and just scrolling through this a little bit, there's some heavy interest in Namaste.
Let's take a look at Namaste today.
And also, we'll get to Juju. We'll talk about them a little bit too.
Yeah. Well, Juju's been halted all day, I understand, and the market's going to close in 16 minutes.
So, okay, let's do Juju first.
Okay.
What are they? What is that? The
JU
on the it's the CNX. Which
CNX.
is the CSE.
Yeah. Now, what's the ticker for that? That's the
JU.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we should be looking at what range should we be looking at here? Probably not a year, right?
Well, you know
They're
what? Let's look
3 months?
at let's look at this. This is good because I think that was a previous regime back there, and the action started.
What
in
about
here.
one?
Look
Is
at
this too close? 1 month, or do
No,
you
that's
want?
good.
Okay.
That's good.
1 month.
Yeah, that's good. But look at the expanding Bollingers,
Yeah.
which is a bit problematic. You know, you got a nice little action here, and then this thing started to lift right here,
Yeah.
and you know, up, and then you got this candle that's outside. We went back inside, back up here. We broke it briefly on that late surge the day Gormley was here. The next day we sold off, and now it's halted. And
Yeah.
we've had 2 red days.
So it's most likely halted pending news.
Well,
of some
there's got to.
right? Like a lot of times companies just
Yeah. This
they
is a hold probably initiated by the company as opposed to by the exchange.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, you know, it could be a deal, it could
Yeah.
be a funding, it could be one or the, it could be a lot of things.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
it's and with James touching down in Jamaica.
yeah.
I don't have my. He's probably knows.
You know, and not to the viewers probably would like more information from us here, but you know, until we know what the news is,
Yeah. Yeah.
there's no, you know,
one
speculating
can-
at this point, you know, talking about what the potential is and whatever.
Yeah.
It's been a big winter.
The only thing we know is that the stock was halted, and this is what we were just talking about. It might be kind of BS,
Yeah.
but the bid and the ask is above what the halt price is. But
Yeah, and
does that mean
right
it-
now the bid and
yeah.
ask are locked at 32.5, which is, you know, the lock thing I get because all they're doing is putting in all the orders and that's where it's matched right now. So
Right.
theoretically, if they came back, that's where it would open.
Yeah.
Theoretically.
Yeah.
But that's going to change as soon as the exchange says we're going to be trading in half an hour. Now,
Well,
it's not going to come back today.
No, because we got
13, yeah.
13 minutes left
Yeah, yeah.
until close, so probably this is just going to stay
Yeah.
halted until.
And the other one you mentioned was Namaste.
Yeah, there's a ton of people on our.
Yeah, well, let's take a
YouTube.
look. Namaste.
It's just N on the exchange.
Yeah, and they got
they
picked
on?
up by, they got singled out by that Citron Research a couple days ago.
Yeah, that was brutal.
But look at nice action here.
This is a 3-month look.
You know what? This is look at this. You know, and this is
Right.
This is where the day of the Citron Research and looked not good, but it was a green candle, which is here. Like I say, after a down move and you got this tail, that's usually a good sign because buyers came in, lifted it, and that's where it closed. And then another up day, another green. You know, it's almost back to.
So who the Citron people, is that
They're big. They like to find companies that they think are extremely overvalued, and
yeah? So
they said it. They came out, I think, said in a report this is worth a quarter.
what was I watched the Netflix. Did you watch Dirty Money, the Netflix series?
No, I did not.
There was one on Valiant.
Oh yeah.
So I think I could be wrong though, so I don't really want to say this out loud. But if it was Citron that,
I think James has said that.
yeah. Okay.
But
okay, yeah, that's a good way. James said that. I'm not saying that. James is the one that.
You know,
said
he's
that.
not here.
I don't have to be accountable for any of that.
Let's blame James.
Yeah, let's blame this guy,
Hey.
who
He's eating a pineapple there. Is that a pineapple, or is
it's an ingot of gold.
or is that a hand grenade and he's biting off the end and he's about to throw it?
I think it's a golden hand grenade.
Look at Tilray here coming off, closing down 168. So it's selling off today.
There's Valens. We just had Tyler Robson in, who's also a big guy, just like Aleafia.
Yeah.
And then you have Liberty Health Science, George Soros. Those three guys could be linebackers in the NFL. There's some.
Wow.
There's some
Yeah.
tough dudes. So
Let's look at the big one in Canada here, canopy growth. Let's see what.
That's always a good one to look at. So we're doing it on the TSX, right? Not their. Oops, I don't think I have to write that in. Weed.
Yeah, we're going to talk to weed tomorrow. I think we've already said that, but let's say it again.
We're talking to weed tomorrow?
Weed MD.
Weed MD. Yes.
Well, it's kind of like weed, but
It's close. It's close enough. This is not canopy, so something's wrong here.
oh,
I'm going to go to the.
WEED dot colon
Well, let's just switch it up and do it.
CGC. If you put up CGC,
Canopy Growth Corp. Yeah, and
that'll be that'll
I'm
work.
kind of curious to see though what shows up on our website here. Uh-oh. I definitely don't want to hear myself talk, or I'm going to march right out of the room.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of. So what's
Wow.
going on with them? That's good. That's great.
Yeah. But I don't. Well, I'll tell you. Look at this, eh?
Let me see if I can. Yeah. There
Okay,
we go.
there you go. Okay, well that's a good chart. That's weed, right? That's
that's
a 1 year.
The former bellwether before Tilray just
Yeah.
pooed all over everything.
Yeah. Well, look, this is when Constellation came in,
Yeah.
immediately shot it up, and look at this movement. The only thing I'll say here is you got a couple candles that look similar, with big wicks, and yet they're red. And then after that happened,
Always the big wicks.
it's
Yeah, I know. I was trying to draw a line here.
That's
We were
a-
talking. You know what? I'm gonna
do
get
the
rid of
screen
this.
sketch.
I was trying to do that. That's not gonna work. I don't
No.
think this. So you know what? I'm gonna just. I'm gonna point out. Can we? Are we allowed to both be standing at the same time?
Yeah.
Like we can. Why don't we just do the show like this? We can be two
Yeah.
weathermen.
Yeah.
So
Two weathermen. Yeah.
we were.
What's it look like to you? I think
For people who don't know, there's a lot of obstacles back here. So you gotta. That's
gotta
why
watch yourself.
you see.
looks like fog to me.
No, we were talking about a little bit earlier how Canopy's chart
Yeah.
looks good because it's ascending, whereas some of the other even well-known ones they're not really doing
No,
that.
it went into new highs, absolutely. But of course, it's got $5 billion coming in.
No, but long term,
Yeah, I know.
There's
Yeah.
a steady
There's a steady,
increase,
yeah.
and it's a powerhouse.
It's a powerhouse. There's no question. So there you go. So that's good. Now let's take a look at Aphria.
This side of the desk isn't very fun. Now I see why you picked that side.
Aphria,
Okay.
APH.
Should we go to the hardcore chart there?
Yeah,
APH. I happen to like Aphria.
that's good. That's a nice move.
That's not the right
I see the JWCA is up a nice 9 cents today to $1.30.
I'm just gonna do it this way.
Now what?
Which one was that?
APH.
No, the one that you're just. What was up?
JWCA, which is
JWC. James Wagner Cultivation.
James Wagner. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's
So
had a good day.
I,
But
I should also mention that our site tours, I shoot a lot of those. So I'm this far away from their plants. And JWC has some kick-ass plants. And they,
like a unique plants.
well, they don't use, it's aeroponics, right? So they just feed the plant kind of mist and nutrients, and they can cut out a lot of the stuff that people have to use like fertilizer. So it's an interesting.
This is Amphenol Corporation.
No, I know. But see, here's the
Okay,
problem.
here we go. Here
yeah,
we go.
but it's on the. This is the American exchange for some reason. So
That's all right. That's all right. That's the chart's going to be the same, even though the price will be different. But so it's $15.50 US.
this is 3 month. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Well, we're interested in ever since look at
Yeah, it's
nice
all
big movement. Look at let's see what happens here. So we had a move here, big reversal, good rally. Yet I don't know. It may be suggestive of a bit of a top. And I think I've said this before. When the Bollinger Bands get really stretched out, they go from narrow to wide to narrow. We've had a hell of a run here. Maybe this whole thing with Tilray is gonna slow things down a bit. We may just have a quieter next few days or weeks.
So Tilray has ruined everything. Ruined it.
Maybe it's ruined it now, but 2 weeks ago, maybe it's caused a lot of action.
Okay. Oh, we didn't really...
And I think we should also cover Aurora as well. Aurora
Yes.
being the other big one.
Aurora had a really nice day from what I just saw.
So Aurora is what? ACB on the...
I'm having an issue here. I'm getting... James is probably watching thinking, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, what the hell are you doing?
I think I'm going to get it. Oh, that's why. I got it now. Okay. Aurora Cannabis. ACB. There's just too many options
there's
here.
Too many options.
Yeah, you can see my struggles here.
You can see my struggle. That's why
TSX.
I didn't want to do it, because I knew I'd have more struggles. Yeah,
I'm just going to assume that's going to work. Let's just do
that's this. Here we go. No, those are warrants. No, we don't want to do that.
Okay.
Just try.
We could do it on the American Exchange, I guess.
Yeah, do it. If you know what, whatever. Yeah, those are the warrants. There it is, right here. Go down here. Can you keep going right to this one? Aurora Cannabis, ACB.
There it is.
-C. That's it.
Yeah.
Da-da, da-da.
And what do we want, 3 month again, just to keep it consistent?
Yeah, now look at this. Like this. Wow. Yes, look at this. This is the same kind of candle we saw with Tilray.
Yeah.
You get the big wick, big tail, opened higher, closed lower, red candle, and yet today, look at this, right back. This is acting like something's going on. And we had the earlier in the week the thing with Coca-Cola. And they said no moss.
Yeah, the
moss.
only release was there's no deal at this time, and then poof, people just said, I don't care. I think it's happening anyway. So maybe it is. We don't know.
Another big winner today was huge. Let's just see how huge is going into the close here.
Huge.
We did that earlier.
What exchange are they on again? That's FSD Pharma, right?
Yeah, that's on the CNX. That's the CSX, CSE, which I believe you got to
CNX. Yeah, that's right. There it is. So this is 3 months.
Look at this, 90 cents. Sure enough. Wow. That's closing at a new high. That took out the high here. That's bullish. Mm-hmm. Got not quite the volume as we've had here, but let's see what happens. This could gap tomorrow.
CanTrust is rocking today too.
This could gap tomorrow. I got a guy calling
Everybody's
me here.
rocking. It's actually overall this is a great day.
Well, look at Kronos, another one we should look at.
Kronos. Okay, we'll do Kronos, and then we'll go to Justin B. Marshall's personal farm, where
perfect.
He's got some crazy plants.
Okay,
so
let's see Kronos, because it's up $1.50, looking very nice. I got to tell you, I think this. Look at this. Now, is that in the U.S.? Yeah, that's in the U.S.
I put in the ticker for the.
Try it with the hyphen dot. It doesn't matter. That's good enough. But look, that's closing at a new high too. That's a new high close. It looks like, ladies and gentlemen. Even though yesterday it flew up into the stratosphere, but then that's another one of those Tilray, big wick, big tail, sort of a bad candle, and yet disregards it and just keeps going. People want to speculate. People want to have action. So that's it. We got a minute and a half here. Hexo's up another 39 cents. Now, didn't James say? But wasn't he in that back in the $4 level?
Yeah, I got into it too, and then that was the Molson deal
fiasco.
But it was a JV instead of an equity deal.
Yeah.
But now it doesn't matter because
a double's a double.
Yeah.
Like, why would you want a single when you can have a double?
Well, I think that's right.
You know what they say at golf courses? Say when they, sir, would you like a double? You know, they say, do you want a club size? Club size. Yeah.
So you don't actually
make mine
have
a club size. You don't want to say double because it sounds you got a drinking problem.
Hey.
Club size.
Okay.
Make mine a club size, please.
I think we're
okay. So let's now we're going to see.
I don't think we'll see a lot of action. I don't think we're going to see a lot of action in the last minute here, but everybody's
let's
up.
put up the big chart here. Let the
index.
The index, and let's look at the components of that big index. Let's see what.
Hang on, I got to click on cannabis here.
Midas Letter RAW.
You want the big boys?
I want to see the big boys, but I want to see the components, and I want to see the how many are up, how many are down. I
think they're all up but one. Oxley's the only one that's
Oxley,
down.
yeah. Oxley's been sort of.
They are down there, but everybody else.
Okay, so look at Aurora up 11, Kronos
that's
up
a huge day.
7, CanTrust. There's a great company.
Yep.
Everybody thinks that's a beautiful company. That's Brad
Rogers.
Rogers, yeah, nice fellow. Hey, the bell's going.
The cattle are coming home. We got to move them out.
Okay, I think that's it for the market. No more action today, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
But a beautiful day nonetheless.
Yes. And speaking of beautiful, we're going to go down to Justin B. Marshall for his personal growing operation.
Yeah.
Fire it up.
Okay, here we go.
Hello, James, Ed, and all our Midas Letter friends around the world. On today's segment, I want to show you a little tour of my personal garden here near Carmel, California. This garden we're going to be harvesting today, so I thought today would be a perfect opportunity for me to give you all a tour of what we're growing, why we're growing it, and why we've chosen to harvest these plants today. If you'll notice around me, many of the leaves on the plants are turning brown. That's a sign that we're getting close to the end. We're right now in the middle of September, and a lot of plants will harvest between now and the middle of October here in the outdoor California cannabis season. Today we're going to be talking about why we've chosen to use these strains, why we've chosen to use a certain soil and the amendments we've used, and why we've chosen to use a completely organic method of gardening. Also, we'll talk about why we've noticed on these plants that the resin glands are at 20 to 30% amber color. The small resin glands on the buds will turn from clear to cloudy and then to amber color as they continue maturing. Today, after looking through a microscope, we've noticed that the resin glands are at 20 to 30% amber color, so we're going to go ahead and cut these babies down, hang them up to dry, allow them to cure, and then manicure them up into beautiful organic buds. Now, I might mention that we've been growing in this location for the last 4 years, and as a result, I'm still here today to do this interview with you. I've been able to get the access to the cannabis that I need to effectively fight cancer in this organic garden. We can grow plants here that yield about 4 or 3 pounds, and with those 4 pounds of cannabis per plant, I can make Rick Simpson's oil, I can make THCA oil, I can juice these buds, I can make skin creams and balms, I can make teas. There's just a wide range of different medicines I can make out of the buds from this garden. So let's go ahead and take a little tour. Let's show you what we have going on here in this garden. Here we have a Frisian Dew. This plant right here is going to yield about 4.5 to 5 pounds. These buds, as you can see, are about the size of wine bottles, quite large. Very dense. We have not used any hardeners to make them so hard. It's the actual strain that we've chosen. The other reason we've chosen to use the Frisian Dew strain is it is clearly mildew resistant. Now, I can't guarantee this, but we found it to be so. We have a very big problem with humidity here in California this growing season. For the last several weeks, it's been reaching about 60 to 70% humidity every day, which is quite difficult on cannabis plants. We like the humidity to be much lower. So we've cut back on watering, and we're allowing the plants to absorb the moisture out of the air. We haven't watered this plant in 3.5 weeks. Today, since the crystals, since the THC is absolutely perfect, and the resin glands are about 20 to 30% amber color, we're going to go ahead and harvest this plant today. So as we take a nice large bud and we trim it down, what we'll do is we'll hang it upside down for about a week and a half. And then we will manicure it up and then cure it for another month, allowing it to become fully flavored, allowing everything just to become perfect. This is a perfect specimen of a beautiful plant. Let's move on to our next beauty. So we have several Frisian dew plants that we've chosen to grow this year, but we also have grown some other ones like blueberry skittles. Now the blueberry skittles I'm going to show you next, those are also equally as mature, but yet with a fully different phenotype and just a beautiful aroma. Let's go take a look. Here we have the blueberry skittles. This is one of my favorite strains because I love the flavor. It's so sweet and fruity. When I smell it, it smells like blueberry bubble gum, and it actually tastes like it when I smoke it. We're going to be harvesting this tonight because it's absolutely perfect. If you could see on the buds, they've popcorned out. They're fully firm, fully mature, and again, the resin glands are 20 to 30% amber color, which means they're perfect and ready. This is the first year we've grown this strain, but it's definitely not the last. I find this to be a really, really good plant to grow. Now, it's interesting to note that when you put plants in a small container such as this, which is a 30-gallon container, you get very small plants. When you use 100-gallon containers or 500-gallon containers, you'll get much larger plants. You'll increase your yield about 20 times. So the more dirt, the more plant, and the bigger the plant. Let's go ahead and take a look at a few other strains. And here we have the Crazy Glue strain. This strain was developed by my cousin, Mr. Wink Eastwood, several years ago, and we've been growing it ever since. He has crossed a Gorilla Glue, Chernobyl, and Green Crack in order to come up with this strain. And we find it to be a very, very fruity and delicious strain. It finishes nicely, it's not susceptible to mildew, and it's got a very high THC and CBD count. So it's got the medicinal high that I always seek. This Crazy Glue is also a large plant because we've chosen to grow it in much more soil to get the higher yield. Delicious. And here we have Tahoe OG. Tahoe OG is a Kush strain, and we decided to use two types of soil in an experiment. This plant here was grown in a premium soil, and you can see it's much more dark and lush green. This plant here was grown in a more cost-efficient soil, yet it looks a lot weaker. So we've decided only to use this soil in the future. The name of the soil is 420 Premium Soil. It's got a lot of beneficial nematodes and organic compost already mixed into the soil. It's very quality, clearly. This is a great strain. It finishes nicely and it's very easy to manicure and very popular. This is the Blueberry Skittles. It's a cross between blueberry and Skittles. This is a beautiful hybrid. It grows very well in more humid coastal regions such as this. It's got a very fruity flavor profile. This is extremely sought after for connoisseurs and aficionados such as myself because of the high. The high is very heady and body when you let it mature like this. And the flavors, of course. It smokes and tastes like blueberry bubblegum. Just delicious. Here we have a sour diesel. Sour diesel is a nice heavy indica. Some patients come to me and they say, Justin, I tried a sativa last night and I couldn't sleep the whole night through. What should I do? And I suggest they try an indica before bed. The indica will put them into a nice sleepy state. Now, as you can see, this plant is quite large because we've used these nets and poles to train the plant, to tie it back and allow a maximum yield. We'll be harvesting this in about 3 more weeks. And so right now we're just letting it finish off. It's sucking up the beautiful sunlight, we're flushing it, and I would say this will probably be a good 3 or 4 pound plant. 3 maybe. And this will be just a beauty. Lastly, here we have a skunk number 1. This is an older strain. It's been around for many years, but we've never grown it before until this year, here in this location. We wanted to see how it would handle the Central Coast climate. This growing season here in the Central Coast, we've had a high level of humidity, like I mentioned earlier, so some of the strains are taking it hard. The skunk number 1 is no exception. She's having a little bit of time with spot mildew showing up on about 2% of the buds. So we're hoping that she could last another 2 weeks until peak maturity. If so, we should be able to get about 5 pounds out of this plant here. It's very large. Oh, it's so smelly. It just got that skunk smell that I remember so well as a child. And then over here, we have the Frisian Dew again. This also will be a 5 pound plant. We use a lot of soil to allow the roots to grow to as much space as possible. And we use a natural home brewed tea, natural compost, and that's about it. This is just about as organic as you can get. We're gonna harvest this tonight as well. So I wanted to give you a good look at it before we chopped her down. These will be cut tonight, hung for a week, cured for about a month, and then we'll be able to enjoy these by Halloween. That'll be nice. Perfect. We'll have to juice this baby.
Smoke weed every day.
Hey everybody, we're back, and we're with Alison Gordon,
Yes.
CEO.
Yes,
So how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
And last time I saw you, you were off to Italy.
You're not supposed to say that. I work 24/7. Maybe I was there for work.
Yeah, maybe.
Stay tuned.
Yeah. So what's new in your company?
Well, there's lots going on at 48North, actually. We just announced that we received our extraction license.
Right.
I think we released that early Monday morning, so we're super excited. You know, we're a company that's very much focused on future products and creating brands around those products.
Right.
Because I started my career in Canada, but midway through, I was working in the US. And while in the US, I could see the sales went really quickly in 2014 from like 30% on the extracted products, like
Right.
edibles, extracts, vape, to 50% and upwards. And I knew back then, although everyone thought I was crazy here, that this is a consumer packaged goods industry.
Yes.
So a big milestone for us was receiving our extraction license, because that puts us towards being able to do the development on products and be able to formulate to start to
Right.
get those products ready for when the government says that we
Yeah.
can
Now,
introduce
so
them
how
into
many
market.
products are you looking at here?
Right now we're looking at them in terms of verticals. So food, beverage, cosmetic and skincare is a very big one for us.
Right.
For us, the strategy, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. What's the when you say cosmetics? Like what like, and I don't know that much about it, so I'm going to ask you, like, is it CBD or is it THC or is it?
It's really both, and we expect that we will discover more about the other cannabinoids and the terpenes and how it all works together.
Right.
But in the US, the CBD skincare products are some of the fastest growing in the cannabis space, and in the skincare space, the cannabis products are one of the fastest growing.
So you're a wellness company.
We are. We're a health and wellness company, really focused on the female market, which we think is a huge opportunity because women make up 48% of the cannabis market.
Right.
And now you have companies, once we've come out and we've gotten a lot of media attention for being focused on the female market, so you see other licensed producers saying, okay, we're going to create female-oriented brands. But to me, brands, true brands, authentic brands live in that authenticity, meaning the fact that I am the only female CEO of a publicly traded cannabis company in the world gives us a really unique place to be able to, take that in. Like, it's the first ever.
And so you're the only one?
Out of a publicly traded cannabis company, yeah.
Wow.
Because in the US, obviously, you cannot be a public cannabis company.
Right.
So this gives me a unique position to really be able to create products, formulate, and engage.
This is your magazine too, isn't it?
Yeah, we launched this brand Latitude in the summer, and it's really a platform for women to share their stories about using cannabis. We find through our market research that women feel that they want more information, but they don't really relate to a lot that's out there in terms of the Cheech and Chong side of the cannabis industry.
Right.
So for us, we said, okay, you know what? Why don't we look at our company differently than maybe some of the other licensed producers? There's this sort of vertical. We grow, we extract, we sell.
Right.
Maybe there's retail, distribution. For us, we're going, okay, as a health and wellness company, that has this really exclusive, valuable cannabis license, it gives us the freedom to think outside the box in terms of how we're going to engage consumers and create our brands. Because everyone's out there saying it's about brands, which I've been saying since 2013.
Yeah.
But the reality is we're very restricted by Health Canada in terms of how we can market and brand. So for me, it's really interesting for us to be able to launch lifestyle brands and content brands and media brands and be able to engage people in what we're doing. So when we're ready, we can say, oh, Latitude, you loved our book, you love our, gorgeous pipe.
I like that. It looks
it's really
great.
cute, eh? Just totally different.
Funky.
And then we go, now Latitude is a vape pen, and we already have that trust and relationship with the consumer.
And you went public about 6 months ago, is that right?
In June, yes.
Okay, so
not that long ago.
Not that long ago. And how much money did you raise back then?
So we didn't raise anything on the RTO. We had raised $16 million in January, and then we went public in June.
Okay. So you're sitting on a good chunk of cash?
Yes, we are.
Which is very important, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I think for us, again, I come from a marketing and branding background.
Right.
And this really is, the public company world is different in the sense of there's a lot going on. And I heard you guys talking about this earlier, what's real, what's not real, announcements, acquisitions, like people are running in a million directions.
Yeah.
That doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
I'm really looking and saying.
I get the sense that you're very grounded.
Yeah.
And you're, I get the sense that some of the nuttiness that I've seen in the industry, I don't see that with you. I see a very.
Thank you. This is a compliment.
No, it is. It is. You have this calmness about you,
right?
And I think you know where you're going, and you sort of know how to get there, and you're going to do it.
Well, that's the thing. I am also a cannabis user, and I have many friends who use cannabis as well. So I approach everything I've ever done in my career really from an intuitive place as well. We do a ton of market research, but I understand where this industry will go, both because I was working in California in 2014. So I was working in a much more mature market.
Are you American?
No, I'm not. I'm Canadian, but I was working with another licensed producer back then who was delayed in licensing, and we purchased a dispensary in Los Angeles, which we ultimately sold to MedMen. So it was the big MedMen store there on Santa Monica Boulevard.
Right.
So that experience.
I kind of remember you might have talked about that.
Yeah.
And I remember I was not on the set with you, but I was watching you and with James.
Yeah. So that experience and my own experience
Sure.
says this is a huge industry, and I know there are people out there watching this going, the game's done, you've got 6 big players, that's the end of the story, and it's really not true.
No.
I mean, this industry is going to evolve.
But you've carved a nice niche for yourself
Right.
and for your vision.
Right, and for me it is the female market, and
Yeah.
in terms of health and wellness, if you look at companies like Goop, Gwyneth Paltrow's company,
Right.
she is doing extremely well, and
Yeah.
without a doubt, they started as a content, a website with content, and ultimately realized that's where people were going to get their information, and then it was like, well, wait, we can sell them things, and be in e-commerce, and then it
Yeah.
became, wait, we can actually own these things that we sell
Yeah.
them, and I think that's in the categories of travel, food, health, wellness. I mean,
Sure.
across the board.
Good
If
for
you
you.
go to the Goop store in Brentwood in California, you can buy earrings, you can buy vitamins, and it's
Yeah.
all got their stamp of
Yeah.
approval.
Well, who's the actress that has the children's clothing line? My memory's terrible.
I'm not sure who you're talking about, but for sure celebrities are doing that. But
Yeah.
I think Goop
She
lives
was in the
much
Fantastic
beyond her.
Four. She was the woman that.
Oh, you're talking about the Honest Company, which is Jessica Alba, which is another great example. So there you have everything
It's a
from
billion-dollar company, isn't it?
diapers to
Yeah,
clothing.
yeah. She's got young children, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really great example. We actually talk about the Honest Company a lot because
Yeah.
it used to be if you were a food company, you were a
Yeah.
food company. And for us, as I said, we're a health and wellness company. We have
Yeah.
this exclusive license. We're focused in cannabis,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean all the acquisitions
Yeah.
that we're doing or products that we develop will necessarily live there. We can be in the accessory space. We can
Sure.
be in the
Yeah. Yeah.
other forms of health and wellness
yeah.
space.
There's a real. I get a sense of a real sincerity
Totally.
in you.
I love what I do.
I can say I think a lot of people are in this space right now because it's a way to make quick money, but I don't see that with you at all.
No, and I have utter respect for those. I mean, I've been in this space since, as I said, 2013. So there was really like 6 licenses at that time.
Yeah.
So I really do know everybody, and everybody was just starting up. I sometimes think back to we were raising money at a $15 million valuation with the company I was with back then.
Sure.
And Bruce Linton was also raising money at a $15 million valuation. So we were all just running
Yeah.
around together and learning and growing. And the thing is that yes, some were really smart and had that first mover advantage of going public and raising the capital needed to be able to be vertical
Sure.
and be in all these spaces. But I've always believed that staying focused and carving out your niche is really a winning strategy. And ultimately, yes, you might be acquired by somebody else who really wants to have that female market that you've dominated. But right now, women in particular look around at the licensed companies. They don't know, most of them, they don't understand what's going on. And we're here to hold their hand and say, this
Sure.
is the cannabis industry and you're part of it with us.
Good.
Yeah, so it's like a
Phenomenal.
very interesting time while still running a public company and dealing with the markets.
Yeah. So I mean, look, you are where you are.
Yes.
What do you? I mean, where do you want to take this? Like.
Well, a big part of our strategy is really partnering with consumer packaged goods companies that are not in the cannabis space.
Right.
So we've been spending the last 6 months really working with a few that we will be, talking about very soon in these partnerships.
Right.
And when you spend time with someone who's been doing food manufacturing for 50 years and you go into their facilities, you're like, okay, you know what? You know how to do this in a way that us as a cannabis company could never touch. They've made the mistakes over the years. They understand manufacturing, they understand packaging, they understand distribution. I mean, when you buy a package of Oreos, it looks and tastes exactly the same every time.
Yeah.
And there's a science and art to all of that. So for us, it's not about saying we're going to do cosmetics and we're going to do food and we're going to do vape pens and we're going to do on our own. It's saying we have this valuable license that's not easy to get. I think there's only 58 sales licenses right now since 2013.
Yes.
Here's a company that's a large consumer packaged goods company that wants to be able to manufacture with cannabinoids. We have a license, we have cannabis know-how, we have unique cultivars. So we just announced today that we've, phenotyped 6 of our 17 cultivars, which are things that not everybody has. We have that knowledge. You have this knowledge. Let's come together and create a facility that will be licensed to utilize their IP and knowledge and know-how and ours. And not just to create our own products and brands, but to be able to contract manufacture for the industry. I don't think a lot of people realize that the really, really big food companies, the ones that pop into your head as like the biggest CPG food companies, most of them do not make their own food. I mean, it's being contract manufactured.
Sure, they have a brand.
They have a brand. They're brand companies. They're content companies. So, you know, on the one hand, we are a brand and content company, 48North. But we also, with this license, are leveraging that to be able to be partners with some of the best in class in those verticals to allow them to do what they do well and take the value and revenue that comes from being a partner in that. So, you know, those types of relationships take a long time. I mean, big CPG companies like Johnson & Johnson and Procter & Gamble don't come and just go, let's do let's LOI, let's announce it. So that's what I've been doing over the past 6 months.
A year ago, how many employees did you have and how many employees do you have now?
So a year ago, we probably had about 20 employees. Now we are probably at about 50.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, human capital, thank you, is one of the biggest challenges for all LPs, whether you're Canopy or ARAH or us. This is a new industry. It's all about people, isn't it? It's all about people, and you don't.
And what's the mix of men to women on your company? just had to ask that question.
I don't. I should have those top of mind. I don't.
Okay.
But we
Doesn't
have
matter.
a strong female executive level at our company, and that's really important to us.
Yeah.
And it's not just gender diversity. We really believe in overall diversity. I think this industry is not very diverse. It only takes going to a few conferences and looking around, and like generally I'm the only woman in the room, but you know, there's not a lot of color of any kind, and you know, it is really homogeneous. I think a lot of people that got into this industry came from, you know, the stock market.
And your ticker
world.
is NRTH.
Our ticker is NRTH.
And there's roughly, I think, 80 million shares? Or fully diluted about 100?
Yeah, something more than that, but yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so your market cap is
about 60 million.
Yeah, so not
fully diluted.
Not insane. It's
Yes.
not insane.
It's really not insane, and as I said, part of that is because I'm not running and scrambling and announcing, much to the chagrin probably of some people. But at the same time, we've been doing the work over the last 6 months to be able to announce some really serious, solid things in the coming months. And to me, it has to be a win-win. I'm always looking at what is the market going to react to, but is this going to really build our business? It's an interesting thing investing in or being part of a smaller LP with a smaller market cap, because we're not able to just spend money anywhere.
Your office is here in Toronto?
We are in Toronto.
Okay.
Yeah.
Downtown somewhere?
Yeah, we're just like 2 blocks away from you.
Well, listen, Alison, it was a great interview.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming back.
Thank you.
You're going to be back soon, I know.
James and I have,
I know you guys have a
loving relationship.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, so you'll come back soon?
I will be back.
Okay, listen.
Have a great day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
I think so.
Thank you. I'll go put this back in jail.